Okay. Hot take of the week to start, to borrow a masked man thing. Ezekiel is going to work for Elias, and I explain to you why. They are not going to discourage them chanting "Walk with Elias." They're not going to. This is going to be them leaning into the audience. Eventually, he will return as Elias, and he will be over because the fans will just keep chanting for it. Because there's no freaking possible way that Ezekiel could work, and they know it's not going to work.
For those reasons,
it's not supposed to work. That's my guess. It's not supposed to work.
And on that, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I think they know what they're doing here. I really do. I think they know what they're doing here.
So you saying WWE knows how to tell a story?
No, I'm saying that WWE is incapable of booking Elias right now because they booked Elias into a corner. So what they're going to do is make the fans clamor for him to come back. And by the time he grows his beard back, he's going to be ready to go.
We got full-blooded Elias.
I think, yes, Elias in his final form, or his full form, to use anime terms, I guess. That's anime, right?
Yes, you are correct, sir. You are correct.
All right. I've never seen an anime in my life, but there we go.
Go Dragon Ball Z.
That's what I hear, but there's like 9,000 episodes, right?
True. One season is like 238 episodes.
If I didn't hop on that during the pandemic, Steve, I ain't hopping on now, bro.
Hey, man, I feel you. I feel you. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Welcome back, casual wrestling fans, to another episode of the Casual Wrestler Podcast. I am your host, the Casual One, Casual Steve. Join with me today, co-hosting with me today, Mikey C, a.k.a. Stephen A. Slams, a.k.a. Mr. Tracksuits.
Steven.
I'm going to just let you go ahead and intro yourself, bro. Go ahead, do your thing.
Casual wrestling fans, this is the one and only Mikey C, a.k.a. the Big C, a.k.a. Coach Tracksuits, a.k.a. Stephen A. Slams. Wrestling fans, acknowledge me.
Oh, wow. Wow, they got to acknowledge you, too. This intro keep getting longer and longer, week by week.
I'm feeling myself, Steve. I'm just feeling myself.
I feel you. Join me today also, too, the Ring General, Josh B.
What's up, guys?
Are we going to rename him Gunther, too?
No, we are not. We will not disrespect the Ring General. And also join with us today, TJW.
What's up, people?
You sound like you just got up. We just woke up the dragon. We got an interesting one, though.
Ooh-wee.
I am excited about this one because this particular pod is our coolest wrestler draft. Now, is this by opinion, or is this?
It's got to be.
It's got to be popular opinion or personal opinion? Because those are two totally different pods.
I say personal.
I think it's got to be personal. It's the only way we do it. It's the only way, and I think you just got to defend your choice. I just die on your mountain, I guess.
Hey, man, I love it. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people down on some mountains, bro. TJW is on this pod. Anything could happen. We might see Stardust on this list.
Stardust.
All right. For those who have not joined us during a draft pod, Josh, our Ring General, can you please break down the rules?
Yeah, we're going to go 4 rounds here with there being 4 of us, and we're going to go snake style draft. All right. So first pick of the first round will get the last pick of the second round. Fourth pick of the first round will get the first pick, starting us off on the second round. We'll go through the list, and then hopefully after we'll put our lists up, and you guys can vote for who you think had the best, or in this case, the coolest draft.
Oh, man. Put a lot of pressure on us right now, bro. All right. So order. What are our order? What order we're going to go in this particular draft?
TJ is going to lead us off. Mikey second, Steve third. I'll go fourth.
All right.
I just threw that.
I love it. See, it's the ring general. Again, put some respect on his name too. And you
Now
started
with
off with
TJ, he certainly can't screw this up, can he?
Yeah, you started off with the wild card. You're being brave right now.
man.
You can go wild card second round, right? First round, you got to go chalk.
Let's hope.
All right, my first pick. Got to put respect to it. The newly Hall of Famer, The Undertaker. Now I'm choosing The Undertaker for a list of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is without The Undertaker, I would have never started watching wrestling. No Hulk Hogan was interesting. All the Pipers, I never took any interest in those guys. It was something about watching a 6'10" man, 300 plus pounds, walk the ropes with this methodical, dark persona that even Vince McMahon didn't really think was going to go, a gimmick that even Vince didn't really think was going to go over. I mean, come on. WCW released Mean Mark Calloway because he thought he wouldn't draw.
Man, he drew.
So, thoughts from the rest of the guys?
Can I ask, when you say he's the reason why, what era Taker did you jump in on? Did you jump in from the beginning?
Very beginning, the night after he joined the Survivor Series. That first Saturday night show. It was a tag team match with him teamed up with I believe it was Ravishing Rick Rude, and he had Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Hulk Hogan on the other side. That was my first time seeing The Undertaker. That was my first time watching an entire wrestling match.
Yeah, I love the pick. It's a great pick. I mean, not only is he cool, just for the simple fact that he did it in so many different variations. There were so many different Undertakers we got. But also, when you know the behind-the-scenes story, the fact that he was the locker room leader, he was the guy that people looked up to, he was the guy that people were afraid of. Yeah, I'd say when you have grown men who are about 6'5" scared of you, I'd say that's pretty cool.
Hands down. I mean, this is it's a great pick. I can't argue with this at all. Again, all the stuff you just said, Josh, I'm not gonna reiterate it. I mean, just a legend in the game right now, and definitely gonna be missed as, again, him retiring obviously is a big hit to wrestling, period. But again, great pick, TJ. Great pick. I thought we were going left field out of here. I thought we might have got like Goldust or like or the Boogeyman or something.
Afraid Great Khali is going to pop up on this list.
I really think he is, man.
He was the Punjabi Playboy, though.
And did you hear him sing? Come on now.
I'm still.
He sounded like Fergie at the All-Star game. Just saying.
All right. With that being said, Mikey, take us to your pick, sir.
I'm torn between two guys here. Torn between two lovers and feeling like a fool. But somebody asked me the other day, and actually I'm gonna broach this to you guys, this question, which will lead to my pick. And I'm not giving anything away because both these guys are gonna get drafted, I have a feeling, in the first round. Somebody asked me the other day, a fellow wrestling fan, what was The Rock's gimmick? Like, explain to me what The Rock's gimmick was. It just dawned on me what The Rock's gimmick was. What was The Rock's gimmick?
I would say, especially when he went face, his gimmick was he was just the coolest guy in the room.
Right.
When he went face, yes, that's exactly when he went face. But when he was a heel, his character was Black Ric Flair.
100%.
So with that being said, since The Rock is probably the second coolest wrestler of all time, he was biting the coolest wrestler of all time, in my opinion, even though personally I'm kind of out on Slick Rick these days with some decisions he's making, but let's keep the bad out of this pod. Let's keep our smiles on our faces. But I'm going to the most popular and relevant professional wrestler of all time. Professional wrestler, not entertainment entity. It's coolest pro wrestler, not entertainment entity, because The Rock is basically like a category in his own. The coolest professional wrestler of all time is Nature Boy Ric Flair. Holler at your boy.
I knew the woo was coming. I can't argue it. Again, I'm a big Ric Flair fan as a wrestler, as a person. Again, he's made a lot of decisions that's obviously questionable. We'll leave that off the pod, but again, style and profiling, man. Like again, you saw Nate, and it was it was a good match. It was gonna be a good match. It was gonna be a good promo. It was gonna be a good something because he was on the screen.
It was a little more than that, though. Like, I swear to God, like, as a young kid, I was like, so this is what being a man is. You know what I'm saying? I need to have cool clothes.
He had some goals in life.
I gotta have cool shoes. I gotta date every girl in the world. I need to fly private, which, if you really grasp what he was doing, the flying is insane. Like, if you really think about the private flying that they did all this, I mean, like, listen, he's just the coolest. He's the coolest wrestler. I'm sorry. I'll die on this. And again, he's aged poorly just because he's a child. He's a gigantic man-child, but he's freaking Ric Flair, man.
TJ, Josh?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, the reason he was hated so much is because he was that cool, and it made guys jealous. Guys were jealous. Guys didn't want to see him be successful because he was that cool. He was the epitome of cool. And the other thing he did that made him so cool is he held the belt for as long as he did.
And as long as he wanted.
So, yeah, that's a good pick. I mean, he's still cool to this day. He's got NBA arenas, college locker rooms, everybody, every sports rappers talking about him.
Exactly.
I mean, if that doesn't make you cool to have millionaires want to emulate you, I don't know what does.
Definitely couldn't agree more. All right, I'm going to go with my pick for round one with the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Gotta go to Rock. No other WWE superstar has gone to the plateau that this guy has gotten to as far as sports entertainment across multiple different channels. He's done everything. He's held every title. He's beat pretty much every one of these wrestlers that we're probably going to name. Yeah, it's The Rock.
First round pick in my book.
I can't zag on The Rock. The Rock's The Rock. I mean, he's even getting French toast over now. French toast has never been more over now. What's more over than French toast on Instagram?
Nothing, bro.
French toast here. Everything you want to talk about? His name should be Dwayne Midas because everything he touches turns to gold.
I think as the media conglomerate that is The Rock, this is actually what made me think of this topic idea, because I think The Rock has in the world become one of those cool guys, much like a Frank Sinatra or somebody like that. But even if we just look at him from a wrestling standpoint, like, he's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. That was the gimmick, and it was true. I mean, he was cool because, and I hate to sound kind of dumb here, but like, he was sitting there, he could make fun of anybody. He could put anybody down and you would laugh. He was funny. He was tough. I mean, he had every characteristic.
Yes. And he could wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's funny, too, in the era of Super Cena, where everybody was kind of sick of it. I think people really didn't take to John Cena because, and I think they kind of addressed this when they feuded, he was kind of like a watered-down version of The Rock. And that's why nobody took to Cena when they went away from the Marine stuff. And they were kind of just trying to make him, goofy John Cena. It was a lot of Rock light. And he's just not as, at least he wasn't at that time, not as cool as he's not as cool as The Rock. He's not.
He would make people go insane by just moving his eyebrow. Let's not forget that.
That's pretty freaking cool. That's like Michael Jackson level stuff. Michael Jackson used to do, and I think he did say that in an interview that he took that from Michael Jackson when he would move his head and like not say anything for a while because you're building that anticipation. Just a master in the craft.
See, I got nothing, man. I mean, it's a great pick. A 10-time world champion in The Rock, 2-time Intercontinental champion, 5-time tag team champion. I mean, I would have loved to have seen him come back, but come on, man. Like Hollywood called for The Rock, and he's cashing in right now. So, but The Rock, definitely big time, great pick. I'm surprised they haven't mentioned him for Hall of Fame yet.
He doesn't want to go in. He's been very public. He's not done yet. He said, when I'm done, when I'm retired, when I am retired, I will go in. He used that word very specifically, though. He used the word retire. Because if you know this, when they ask him, he always says, I'm done. He never uses the R word.
WrestleMania 40 is only 2 years away.
That's true. That's true. You think Reigns going to hold the title for another 2 years, though? So we can build that anticipation?
No. My third round pick is going to take it. I'm calling my shot.
Man,
I'm dying on that.
You pointed to the seat. You pointed to the seat on this one.
I'm dying on. I'm getting ready to break this podcast in about 20 minutes.
I love it. I love it. Josh, please close out round one, sir, because you got a hefty load right now because you got the last round and you got the top of the second round. So where we going, sir?
I like all your picks, but I think I'm getting the best pick here. It's an obvious one. I'm going Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hands down.
The guy was the coolest. I mean, even with The Rock and Taker and Triple H and Vince in that era of the Attitude Era, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin that made that era go. I mean, the beer drinking, the flicking off your boss, it was like we talked about earlier. I made the comment that men hated Flair because they wanted to be as cool as him. Well, people didn't hate Austin, even though they thought that Austin was way cooler than they were. Yep. I mean, he was just the man. So I'm going Stone Cold Steve Austin as my first round pick.
Man, I envy you because I really wanted to take that pick, but I was like, gotta go to Rock though. Just gotta go to Rock. But hands down, gotta be in the first round. Who didn't like Stone Cold? Who didn't like everything that he did?
Unless you were just a WCW diehard, that's the only. Like,
and even then,
I don't think I'm going on a limb by saying this, guys. This was the draft. Like, this was the first round. The first round. It was a matter of how it was going to drop. Like, it was the four guys. Like, now, anything now is kind of like our own personal taste. The four obvious picks are off the board.
Oh, absolutely.
Am I out of line saying that? No. I imagine that this was going to be the four, however it laid.
If it was only three of us, this would have rolled over to the second round. Absolutely.
Yes, I think so too. So now is when the draft gets interesting.
All right, Josh, you just put even more pressure on you.
I'm playing mind games with Josh right now.
But a ton of pressure on me. For my next pick, the first pick of the second round for the coolest guy draft, I am going to go with. Can I go tag team and go outsiders, a la the NWO?
Oh man!
I mean, they are what started all of that Attitude Era, in my opinion. I mean, first off, I think we know this whole draft was unfortunately based off the death of Scott Hall because everybody constantly called him the coolest guy in wrestling. But him, Nash, Hogan, that whole idea of the NWO, although I'll just stick with the outsiders. I mean, they are what brought people back to wrestling. They did what they wanted, whenever they wanted. They were the coolest guys in the room. I mean, as much as we were supposed to hate them, they ruined it because so many people just love the NWO. It's still a product that's purchased now 30 years later. I made the point the other day. I think Vince McMahon has made more money off the NWO than just about any creation that he came up with. And I go NWO, especially Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
I will not put up a fight. I will, however, I will just ask that this is the only stable that we do, because I feel like we can knock some big names off the board by doubling and tripling up.
Outsiders. I'll just go outsiders. I'll go outsiders.
Yes.
Hogan out there if anybody wants him.
I don't think Hulk Hogan's cool. I think the fact that Hulk Hogan was successful as he was is so amazing, because he's not cool at all. Like, he wore yellow and like had no hair and like had a mustache. Like, Hulk Hogan wasn't cool. Hulk Hogan was awesome, but Hulk Hogan wasn't cool.
This feels personal, Mike.
Right. You sound like you want to fight the man.
Hulk Hogan is Hulk Hogan is why I love pro wrestling. Hulk Hogan was my freaking hero. Hulk Hogan, there was a time period where I loved Hulk Hogan more than my father. And that's insane.
I feel like there should be like the Star Spangled Banner like playing in the background right now while you're saying all this.
Hulk Hogan was my hero.
Well, at least Hulk Hogan's theme music.
I am a real American. Could we dub this over afterwards? Could we put that in post? Here. But Hulk Hogan wasn't cool, bro. As a 37-year-old man, looking back, Hulk Hogan's not cool, dude. Hulk Hogan's not cool.
I feel you.
If I could just clarify for a second, when I say the outsiders, I do have to make this point. Although I did throw the NWO's name out there, let's face it, the NWO was not cool because of whatever name IRS was at the time, or the big boss. Like, that's
True.
not why they were cool. It was cool because, especially the attitude that the outsiders brought to it pre-NWO. The little couple month run they went on before the NWO even existed. Like, that whole cool attitude of the NWO came from those two guys.
I think it was 6 weeks, Josh, which just brings to your point. It adds to your point. They got over in 6 weeks. They got over more than they did in WWE in 6 weeks because of how cool they were. I'm mad at you because I wanted to pick one or the other, but I'm glad we did this, though, to broach two different topics. One, Hulk Hogan's not cool, even though he's awesome, but he's not cool. And two, Scott Hall is probably who I would have taken off the board next. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon was cool. More so, Razor Ramon, I think, was cooler than Scott Hall was. But let's just
the whole thing, man.
Scott Hall was just cool, man. That's here.
It was just
Scott Hall
him.
Was cool
because
and
Razor Ramon to me was still Scott Hall.
It certainly was. I'm not going to argue.
Maybe not the early version of Scott Hall of Razor Ramon, like when they had him like pretty much like totally ripping off Scarface, but like the later iterations of Razor Ramon, that was Scott Hall.
I thought Scarface was a ripoff of Razor Ramon. What the heck are you talking about? You're like blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, right.
No, dude, Hall and Nash were cool, dude. Hall and Nash were cool. Hulk Hogan's not cool. I'm sorry. I love Hulk Hogan. I love you, Hulkster. You're my idol when I was a kid. You're not cool, bro. He wore yellow spandex. Dude still don't acknowledge he's bald.
Hey, man.
How could you be cool? How could you be cool if you don't age gracefully?
Part of being cool is Homer Simpson, bro. Because he still got the Homer Simpson. He's still draping in the back, man. Get off his back.
I will say this. Here, to prove my point, Dwayne Johnson went bald. He shaved that shit. Because Dwayne Johnson is cool. Hulk Hogan ain't cool, bro. I love Hulk Hogan.
Well, that's the thing, man. The Rock can make anything cool. That's why he went in the first round, bro.
That's a good point.
That said, second round, second pick. That's on me, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not gonna lie, Josh. I am a little bit disappointed because I was going to take Scott Hall in the second round. That was the goal. That was the plan. But I'll pull an audible and I'll go Shawn Michaels.
Ah, damn it.
I'm
surprised he went so early.
I gotta take him. Here's the reason why. How many wrestlers do we have right now today? Again, and we can talk about every single one of these guys that we just recently went through, have copied their style off of these guys.
Yes.
Every one of these guys has multiple different types of wrestlers that have copied their style off of these guys that we just named. Shawn Michaels, no different. Again, he's probably the reason why we have some of the most talented wrestlers right now in professional wrestling. I've heard an interview just recently about Shawn Michaels where he was talking about where Randy Orton was actually talking about Shawn Michaels and how he's so good as a ring general. It's like, it's insane. Daniel Bryan actually was talking about it as well, as him, having this way to talk to you in the ring, which is, again, taboo for, for anybody to talk about, in the ring like that. But the guy's just so good. Great technician in the ring, great guy on the mic, just awesome.
I'm going to tell a story I probably shouldn't tell, but if you're listening, we had a friend, Josh. You remember Aaron? Obviously, you remember Aaron Aldalpe. Shout out, Aaron, if you somehow hear this, if you're, around still. He told me that I probably shouldn't blow his name up. Maybe we'll edit that. He said that before he would go talk to women, he would sing the Shawn Michaels song to himself. If that's not cool, I don't know what is.
That's a win, bro.
Yeah, listen, he's here. He's so cool that gimmick should never have gotten over with men. He's a Chippendale dancer.
That's crazy.
He's Magic Mike. Like,
True.
It's incredible. I mean, here, he's universally cool. Josh, I mean, what do you think, dude? I mean, Shawn Michaels pretty freaking cool.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't know how much I love it. I don't know how much I love the pick. Not this early. I don't know. I mean, again, you just said it. He was a Chippendales dancer. He's famous for being in Playgirl. Like, he wore hearts on his trunks and stuff like that. And I agree with everything you said, Steve, about him being a ring general. But, like, that's behind the scenes stuff. That doesn't make him cool.
Oh, come on. Bret Hart wore pink hearts and pink tights.
Hey, I wouldn't put him on this list. I wouldn't put him on this list either.
Oh, that was cool.
You heard what he said. He wouldn't put him on. I would not put Bret Hart on this list.
I don't know.
think Bret Hart was cool.
Maybe as we get to the later rounds and people and the list gets thinned out a little bit, maybe I put him on there.
You tell me that Shawn Michaels DX
glasses with hearts on. He wore sunglasses hearts that flipped up. How is that cool?
Steve brought up a good point though. DX Shawn Michaels was
exactly cool. The DX Shawn Michaels that we got. A big reason for the Attitude Era. He
literally is the reason. He is the reason. We need attitude. It's Shawn Michaels.
I agree one way, but I will make a point. I agree when you throw him into DX, even though that was a short run, that he was cool and the idea was the coolest. But I would also argue that wasn't even the coolest version of DX, though.
Oh, wait.
And maybe that's a pod for another time.
That's definitely a pod for that. We definitely
have another time. Version of DX.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
TJ,
let's put a pin
down.
in that. Great.
Yeah, pin that one on the board. We definitely need to have a conversation about that.
I love that.
Oh man, my blood pressure. I gotta take my blood pressure medication now.
Well, I'm gonna bring it down, and I'm gonna bring.
I mean, when he was a face, the character was the boyhood dream. And I don't think there was a coolness about him then. And to the point where he like hated that little era. He hated playing that character. He had to go back to being an edge, to having an edge.
But everyone wanted to see this guy in the ring. I turned the TV on to watch him beat up big guys. Maybe that was just me. I guess I'm not, body frame wise, I was like, yeah, that I'm not that big of a guy. So, I like to see the little guy win. So it meant something. It definitely meant something. Those matches that guy put on, again, are the basis of what we have today.
Well, here's the problem, though, Josh. I think you're going to hop on this point. Is pro wrestling really cool, though? Maybe I'm going to get thrown off the pod for saying this, but guys, pro wrestling cool? Could we really? Shouldn't we have started with this question? Is pro wrestling in itself cool?
Yeah, now we're going down a whole rabbit hole.
Nother pod. It's like two pods that we got going right now.
I feel like this is like
pin that one too, TJ.
This is like Inception now. It's like because if you say that, and again, maybe this is my logic class from college kicking in, but if you say pro wrestling isn't cool, let's just make up that we're doing the dartboard here. Let's get the murder board up. If pro wrestling isn't cool, let's just live in that world for 6 seconds. And the reason why Shawn Michaels is cool is that he's a good wrestler. Then Shawn Michaels isn't cool by logical standpoints. But we're really getting off topic right now. Shawn Michaels is cool. I don't know if he's a second rounder, but Shawn Michaels is cool to a certain degree. That's where I'm going to stand. And let's put the pin in that one too.
If that's the case, then I'm going to argue the point that Nash shouldn't be on this list. Because Big Daddy Cool Diesel was not very cool.
I did not take Big Daddy Cool Diesel. I took Kevin Nash.
I know, exactly.
Kevin Nash is cool. Kevin Nash is cool.
Kevin Nash is cool. You're right. Not so much on Diesel. But hey, that's okay. We can move on. We can move on. It's okay. Mikey, round 2, number 3. Where we going?
It's the wild card is the normal one right now.
Exactly, right?
Well. Here, this guy is cool, and the guy I'm about to pick is cool. And I say this because he's the most universally loved professional wrestler of all time, and it's Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Great pick.
Yeah. He is the coolest. He might be the coolest wrestler of all time just by the pro wrestling standards of what cool is. Because if you really look at the microcosm of cool stuff, he's not cool. Like, it shouldn't work. It's sequence, not really cool in the male aspect. At that time, the colors, he may or may not be an abusive boyfriend. Let's leave that up for interpretation. He has a funny. He has a Cookie Monster-esque voice.
True.
Voice, I think, totally makes him cool.
Exactly.
But no.
But Cookie Monster's cool too, bro.
Cookie Monster is freaking cool.
Don't hate on his voice, man.
I was gonna make that comment. You guys are cutting my water off here. But he is cool. And he's the most universally beloved professional wrestler of all time. If you're at a cocktail party and someone's like, yeah, I didn't get Macho Man. They're like the record, even though it is guaranteed it's on Spotify will scratch. Like what? You don't like Macho Man? He was the coolest. He did a rap album and people mock him for it, but not nearly as much as they should. That's how cool Macho Man was.
True, bro.
We let the rap album slide. That's how much we love Macho Man. We're just like much. We kind of like
Mike,
gave him a look. Yeah, yes, sir.
Mike, I was trying to put that rap out of my mind. You just gave me nightmares.
Be a man, TJ. Acknowledge it. It happened, but nobody cared. Everyone was like, yeah, Macho shouldn't have did that. Anyway, screw Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan ain't cool. You know who is cool? Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
Bone saws, ready? Come on, man.
Listen, when the man can get over Slim Jims, that means something, bro.
Oh, my God. He got over Slim Jims. He got over... he may have gotten misogyny over. Although if you really want to be honest, misogyny's been over for a real long time.
Well, and I mean, you want to talk about wrestling always being a male, like, driven, that's the demographic. Well, like, males were in love with the wedding of him and Miss Elizabeth. I mean, that's just a fact. That was, like, huge.
Well, if you want me to be honest, Josh, I don't know if Mike Corelli's cool. And the reason why I'll say that is because Mike Corelli cried at that wedding. I cried watching that wedding. I certainly did. I 100% did. I cried when they got married. I thought it was, as a child, I thought it was the coolest thing I ever saw.
Hey man, real men cry, man. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes,
I'm glad that you were able to break down on this podcast. It's okay, man.
Is that why you told me you wanted to wear a bedazzled cowboy hat at your wedding, Mike, if you ever got married?
I also want streamers like a bicycle on my tuxedo.
If you don't have that, Mike, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
My wife better be the coolest wife of all time because she's have to put up with a lot of wrestling themed stuff at my wedding. I'm just saying, it's going to be a wild time.
This is going to be amazing. And I expect to have a WWE title or some kind of title championship belt as a gift as well.
Well, I've always said this. I won't buy it for myself. I think that's tacky. You don't buy championships. Championships are given or they're earned. I will never buy a belt. I'm being serious. I think I stand. I have no replica titles. I don't even have the replica titles they do have were gifts. I don't buy championships. I'm a football coach. You win championships or they're given to you. You do not buy a championship. And I'm a Yankees fan, and there's some irony there, but we won't say anything. But no, Macho Man's cool. We can move on from there. I'm very confident. I think I have the two coolest guys in wrestling as my picks, which means I'm changing my draft strategy.
Okay. TJ, round two, close us out, brother.
All right, round two. After all that insanity, I'm gonna keep it normal. My second pick,
what,
is Mr. Monday Night, the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam. The man who elevated both the television title for ECW and actually made the hardcore title relevant in WWE.
Wow, good pick.
I'm not gonna argue that, bro. I can't argue that one bit. Who's gonna argue Mr. Monday Night?
Oh, here's the thing, too. I think he's really cool too because he was so ahead of the curve on so many things. Like even think about this in the 90s, the whole pot reference thing. He was just like, well, listen, yeah, I do cannabis. That's my thing. Like he had no shame with it. And how cool is that? Some so taboo and hot button issue. Now I get it. He wasn't on WWE TV doing it, but it was such a cool choice. And it was never overt, but it was always there. It got overt towards the end. Like, because the times changed.
Did he have some unitards that had that 420 strategically spray painted?
Yep, he had. The dragon one.
Well, certainly did. Ones. Well, nobody gets as high as RVD. That's all I know.
Very true.
Yeah, I thought that's a great pick. I mean, with the coolness it was ECW, like that whole ECW thing and him being the linchpin of that. I mean, I think that's a great pick. He came over to WWE and just took it into another gear. I mean, we talk about guys we've never heard bad things about. In terms of like fans liking them, I've never heard a fan say they don't like RVD or don't get RVD. I think he was one of everybody's favorites if you were growing up around that time.
Hands down. This guy, again, probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I mean, just going back and watching ECW, I remember watching and staying up super late at night with my cousin and watching these tapes, or going over to TJ's house and watching these tapes with him. Again, just mind-blowing matches that we saw night after night. Him versus Jerry Lynn, him versus Tajiri, him versus Bam Bam, him versus Taz. I mean, there's some classic matches that you saw Rob Van Dam in, and him making his shift over to WWE, WWF, or WWE at the time. I mean, it was even better. You got a chance to see him battle some of your favorite WWE superstars and put on killings there, all while still being the coolest dude in the room.
Can't forget, he also went to TNA and became the world champion there.
Still the coolest guy in the room.
I'm also going to say this. I grew up in the era of backyard wrestling, as we all did. We all backyard wrestled. Was Rob Van Dam not the most mocked backyard wrestler, guy, archetype? Everybody wanted to do cool RVD moves.
Everybody wanted to jump off of a car or the side of the house or the dog house or the broken down shed and 5-star somebody or kick somebody in the face.
And y'all did the thumbs pointing to yourself every time before you did it to us.
100%. You sound like you are a little bitter about that, TJ. Is this something you want to get off your chest?
If anything, this has become a safe space, apparently.
Speaking of, TJ, take us to round 3, sir. You got the first pick.
Round 3. I'm gonna go with the shocker. I'm gonna say John Cena, not present John Cena. Let's get that clear. Doctor of Thugonomics, ruthless aggression, John Cena.
So you mean John Cena?
I go one further back than that. I mean, when he was rocking the chain and the padlock around his neck.
Oh man!
I'm gonna say, TJ, I think you just saved that pick because when I heard,
you most certainly did.
Were you talking? So were you?
You know, I wasn't
talking
gonna
about
pick
the loyalty? I was gonna say, are you doing the loyalty?
No,
okay,
absolutely not.
Just want to make sure.
Not going there. Nope. Fruity Pebbles, no. The Fruity Pebbles colors, I'm not beefing with the 5 moves of doom, but not this iteration of John Cena is the cool one. Dr. Thugonomics, hands down, is the cooler version.
5 moves of doom are cool, by the way. I'll argue that in another pod. The thing I loved about old school John Cena were the throwback jerseys. How cool was that?
Oh, that was dope.
And that was so of the time. And he really put his finger on that pulse, which is what, let's face it, that's what cool guys do. They find out what's cool, and either they innovate it or they just make it theirs. Like, he is intrinsically linked with that era of hip-hop culture, even though it wasn't his hip-hop culture to own. But that's what was cool at the time, and he understood that, and he really put that into he put that into his character. And also, I'll argue that rap album wasn't bad, wasn't good, but it wasn't awful.
It's not a classic. It's not a classic. I did listen to it a few months ago.
It's not bad. It's not good.
So it holds up. It's okay.
I'm gonna stay impartial.
Listen, it's not Good Kid, Mad City, Steve. Okay, I understand that.
I'm not asking him to be Kendrick, bro. I'm just saying, stay in your lane. That's all I'm saying.
You expect him to? I'm sorry that you want him to put up.
It's not Eminem with the metaphors, man.
You're right. I just need to know what I'm listening to. That's all. It's just like when you watch different wrestling promotions, right? You know what you're watching, right? All right.
Steve, I think I'm going to break the rule I had already. I'm breaking my own rule here.
Already?
Because I'm actually going to break the rule. I'm going to do it because I was having a hard time deciding who I wanted to choose. And I'm like, well, you can't really talk about one without the other because they're so linked. So I'm going to go. Team Extreme is really freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Man.
Great
Listen
call.
to me. Listen, I was going to say Lita because Lita to me is the coolest out of all of them. Because every female professional wrestler, manager, were all either scary, big, or prissy and beautiful. And Lita was sexy. Lita had her thong out.
Yo, you looking for brownie points right now, Mikey.
No, and then Jeff Hardy is is every black person's favorite wrestler. I don't think I have to say that. I think that's known. That's shout out to Kaz.
Next to RVD.
Yes, but that's actually a shout out to Kazim on the Masked Man show. That's his bite, not mine. I'm biting on him. But at the end of the day, Team Extreme was cool, dude. The Attitude Era, I feel like they do not get their due for the Attitude Era. Because Rock's cool, Austin's cool. We know that. But dude, the Hardy Boys were cool. Lito was cool. They were the coolest, dude. People dressed like them. Hot Topic exists because of them.
I feel you, bro. You are 100% right, because I think everything that they have came from Hot Topic.
I think that's known. I think that's a fact. I think they just started buying Hot Topic stuff until they put the T-shirts on them.
This is awesome.
Shout out to Hot Topic. Josh, were you a Hardy Boy or an ENC fan?
Oh, Hardy Boys, not even close. That's a great pick. I mean, like you said, it influenced how kids dressed. I mean, they were, I would say, kind of relevant to a specific fan at the time. But if you were a teenager or in your early 20s, you were a Hardy Boys fan. Like, not even close. Like, I don't know if there were many 50-year-olds running around cheering for them, but like, they were almost like music. You know, music, a certain demographic, when you're a teenager, clings on to that music and you probably listen to it for the rest of your life. That was the Hardy Boys. People who were teenagers in that time grabbed the Hardy Boys and they've hung on to it the rest of their life. You're not going to hear a 30-something-year-old or an early 40-year-old say anything bad about either of the Hardys right now.
They're still cool, by the way. And I'd also like to point out, too, if I'm being honest about backyard wrestling, they were probably the second most mimicked gimmick in a backyard wrestling.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Somebody with a Juggalo hockey jersey on was doing Jeff Hardy Swanton bombs and drinking Monster.
You
in
were either wearing airbrushed tights or you were wearing Janko jeans as an indie wrestler.
Yes.
The early 2000s were dope, man.
Wow.
You did say they were like music, right, Josh? You say they were like poetry in motion?
Yes, there you go.
I see what you did there.
I literally loaded that up right when you said it, and I was like, man, I should do it right now. But no, I waited. I want to build a suspense behind it.
I want to open this up to, first off, Steve, I want to know if you were a Hardy Boys or an ENC fan.
Oh, Hardy Boys fan, bro. I was a Hardy Boys fan. I love ENC. I love Edge more than I did Christian. I always thought Christian was like Robin, like Robin Light. So I wasn't really a big fan of Christian until he like started like really becoming his own man. But I was definitely a Jeff and Matt fan.
Is Matt Hardy cool though?
Oh, Matt Hardy got cool when he started doing the delete stuff, bro. Like when we got that Matt Hardy was cool, but only when he was with Jeff. When he was version 1 Matt Hardy, I felt like we just got a, like, I don't know. I just didn't really know how to feel about him. It just kind of felt like another wrestler.
I don't know how cool he was, but I loved version 1. Version.
I think the whole point of version 1, though, was not to be cool. That was the whole point of it.
I agree. Good point. I agree, Mikey.
But didn't he still kind of get over and still have some MFers in the crowd?
Oh, yeah. With the Matt facts?
Mattitude followers for the people at home.
There you go.
Do not demonetize our YouTube, please.
There you go. Look, I'm excited because I'm sitting in the 3rd round right now with an obvious pick to me that should definitely be on this list. I'm really happy that he didn't go yet. And that is Chris Jericho.
You son of a gun.
Yep.
I thought I was going to get him back. I really did.
I was just so happy that I got a chance to get him. Why are we not talking about the guy, the influencer, Chris Jericho, more? You got whole societies that are made in his honor. This man is the first ever AEW champion.
Correct.
This man is a multi-time, the first ever unified champion in the WWE, correct?
Correct.
This guy's done it all, man.
He was the
Multi-time
last
champion.
WCW champion, the last WCW champion.
Yeah, exactly. Last WCW champion. It had a champion. Was he was Intercontinental champion, I believe, in New Japan.
He was everything, Steve. I think that a lot of people, and here's the thing. Me personally, I love Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho is becoming less cool as he's getting older.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's not aging gracefully at all. And I think that's only really coming in the past couple of years. He's still a rock star. I mean, he'll probably laugh at me because he's a billionaire or whatever. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, multi-millionaire. But I mean, he did throw a super spreader concert during COVID, but that doesn't make you uncool, I guess, in certain circles. I think that Chris Jericho is really cool, dude.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's an obvious pick.
This man came back and had one of the biggest pops. First off, came to WWE and had one of the biggest pops. We still talk about that being one of the biggest pops ever. Then left, came back again, and had another one of the biggest pops that we still talk about to this day. It's this every place he's been able to evolve. He's been able to become greater than wrestling. Every place that he's been.
Well, real quick, and I want to hear Josh and TJ's opinion about this, but I am contractually obligated to mention Cody Rhodes in every one of our podcasts. So I'm going to sneak him in now because I don't think I'm going to get a chance. They compared his pop to Jericho's pop. That pop happened 20 years ago.
See?
That's how cool Chris Jericho is.
Hey, man.
It was bigger than Jericho's pop, and that's because there were 70,000 people there. I'm just saying, if that Jericho pop happened in that stadium, the roof of Jerry World would have exploded. Chris Jericho's cool, dude.
Yeah.
I want to answer your question, Steve. You asked if I phrase it incorrectly, by all means, correct me. But you said something along the lines of, why don't we think of him when it comes to being cool, right? Said something like that.
Mm-hmm.
When he wanted to be cool, he was the coolest. But the thing with him is we've had so many different versions of Jericho. And when he was heel, he did everything not to be cool. Like, if you look at end of WCW, beginning of WWE, if you look at face AEW Jericho, like all of those times, he was as cool can be. Mm-hmm. But boy, when he wanted to be a heel, he was not cool at all. Him in the suit, even though they were kind of a face run, him and Kevin Owens with him being corny. I mean, and I'm just saying, it's a good pick.
That makes my point.
That's what answers your question.
But that right there makes my point. I don't know another wrestler or another sports entertainer that can get what they want out of the crowd whenever they want.
He's a master. He's a master.
An absolute master of it. I don't think that there's very few wrestlers, very few sports entertainers, wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, that can do what this guy does with the audience and make them, you guys know I'm cool and you guys are going to sing my song. You guys are going to do, and even before he joined Fozzy, people were singing his song, Break Down the Walls of Jericho when the song went off. The guy's an epitome of what cool is when it comes to just being a rock star.
I agree. I completely agree. I cling on to his early WWE days, and I thought he was the coolest. They've all been kind of picked in the same area, but I almost throw him with Jeff Hardy and RVD. There was just that clique of wrestlers that were just cool, man. There's no other way to put it.
Yep.
Josh gets two here, right? Oh, yeah, no, Josh, yeah, TJ, please. TJ, no, but I want to hear what TJ to say.
I got no thoughts. I'm in complete agreement with Jericho on that one. I believe we discussed his longevity and ability to keep changing, pretty much get whatever he wants out of the crowd on a different podcast. We may air. That'll be like lost episodes, maybe.
Yeah, we got a lot of lost episodes we're going to be dropping on you guys. So stay tuned for all of that.
I will only bow the Jericho pick with this comment. It just dawned on me. He's been called the Madonna of professional wrestling. And Madonna is pretty freaking cool, man. At least she was. She's old now, but age, not old, because women don't get old. They age. I don't want the women coming after me.
Fine wine.
Fine wine. But listen, though, Chris Jericho is cool.
You know what else is cool? At least for Josh. He gets 2 picks.
Yeah, he does. And there's a lot of names on the board.
That is, man. There's so many guys out there that I still want to take. I got about 5 on the mind, but only 2 picks. First pick, I'll go, and we've taken probably majority of our picks from this era. But, I mean, it was the Attitude Era. It was kind of the epitome of cool. I'm going to take Crow Sting.
Ooh.
I mean, the face paint, the look. I mean, not that it was his character, but the essence of I'm too cool for this room. It was the epitome of just, he was just cool, man. Like I said, taking on an entire faction by himself, people being scared of him. He fit in perfectly with pop culture at the time. I mean, let's face it, the guy was based off of a movie and everybody know it, yet he still got over.
Yeah.
I got to go Crow Sting.
And to throw a little side note in there too, Josh, because I really like this pick. Again, I was at the time when we had Crow Sting, I was very big into WWE, WWF at the time. So Undertaker, to me, was always going to beat Sting. Always. If we ever had these 2 gladiators fight, Undertaker was always going to come out on top. But 100% agree with you on that. It was an aura about Sting when he was in the ring. Like, I don't know. I don't want to speak right now about his wrestling skills, but him as just a sports entertainer, how he carried himself, his persona, just period. It was very Undertaker-esque. And if anybody knew how the Undertaker moved and walked around the ring and how methodical he was, that's what you got out of Sting. That's what you got out of Crow Sting, at least. Which I think great pick.
I have to hop in though, and real quick. The reason why no one really understands about Sting, his best work was done when WCW was in the toilet. Because when he was I went to Spring Stampede at the United Center, and he wrestled 3 matches in one freaking night. And he was unbelievable. Sting did his best work in the ring before WCW even really was hot with Flair. And then he kind of was just like the character. And then TNA Sting was really good, dude. Sting was awesome in TNA in the ring. I just think his best work was not seen by as many people as who saw guys like Taker and Michaels and all. Sting, and it's a testament to Josh's pick and how great it is because Sting's still cool. He was on his own island for 20 years almost, and he's still a legend. He's an icon. He's Sting. Great pick, outstanding.
Just because what you said made me think of it, Mikey. I agree, his TNA stuff was cool. But what's really cool about what he's doing now, I think this is the closest thing to that original character during the NWO era. And I think maybe it just clicked in my head now, but I think that's why people love this Sting so much. He doesn't come out and talk. He just looks scary. He looks intimidating, and he goes and beats people up.
There you go.
And dads are cool. He looks like Darby Allin's dad.
Yep.
I want to see what their mom looks like. Josh, round 4, sir. Kick us off.
Oh. Well, first off, you need to come back to me for the people we leave off this list. I got a bunch of
honorable mentions. We got to get some honorable mentions. We got to do that.
But I'm going to try to go outside the Attitude Era because, again, that's been most of our picks. And I'm going to focus on a specific era of this character, even though this era has kind of lasted 10 years at this point. I'm going to go Brock Lesnar post UFC era. The guy just comes up and beats the piss out of each other or out of people, and people love it. Just people love it. You think of him versus Cena in that first match where he just pummeled Cena. You think of him and Orton where he literally beat the piss out of Orton, like mauled him. You think of matches he has against smaller guys where he just throws them around. I think Lesnar post-UFC era is one of the coolest things we'll ever see.
Cowboy Brock, dude. Cowboy Brock's awesome. I love Cowboy Brock.
Bring up Cowboy Brock. But yes, I agree with that.
This is Brock being nice.
That's Brock being himself, huh?
Right.
It's just weird.
Well, somebody said this, actually. I think Steve sent it to me. Shelton Benjamin said, this is just a different side of Brock's personality. Brock's always Brock. That's why Brock's great. He's the most memeable wrestler, I think, of the past, maybe ever. His GIFs or GIFs. Is it GIF? Is it GIF? I don't know. I'm old. I'm old. But do you remember when he threw the camera? That was so cool. Yes. He threw the camera. He almost killed 3 people. Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
We stood it right. It wasn't even a big thing.
He could have killed somebody. He legitimately could have killed somebody. Didn't care.
I think they would have gotten hit by that camera and would have been happy to have been hit by Brock by a camera.
I don't disagree with that. Josh, could you argue, though, that he was so cool that WWE kind of forced him down everybody's throat? That's like they really latched onto him, and that it kind of hurt him for a while because he was so cool?
I agree with you. But focusing on the idea of being cool, all I picture him is walking down to the ring and just beating people up. I agree he was forced down our throats, still is kind of forced down our throats, but I feel that's a different argument. I think in terms of being cool, like I said, what wrestler has been allowed to beat up their opponents the way that he's beating people up? He's just it's that realism he's brought to professional wrestling when you don't always get that realism. So I guess that would be my answer to that.
I agree with you. I just thought I thought we had to mention it. Just my thoughts.
I agree.
No, good pick, man. I definitely agree with the pick on that one. That Brock was, again, when you talking about the beast Brock, this is exactly what we got. He literally just mauled everybody that he was in the ring with. And to be that big and that athletic, that's insane. That's scary and freaky, which is, again, why he definitely deserves the name The Beast.
Steve, not enviable, brother. There's a lot of names on the board. The honorable mentions might be longer than the pod.
You might be right, bro. I'm going to be honest with you, because the pick that I want to take right now, that I want to put him in this so bad right now. It's too many people to pick from right now. But if I'm going to pick somebody to be on this list for like the coolest person in wrestling, it had to be Mr. Kurt Hennig. Mr. Kurt.
Oh, great pick, Steve.
Outstanding.
Why are we not picking the guy that cannot fail at anything?
Too much sauce. Way too much sauce,
bro. He was drip before drip, bro.
Listen, I totally believe. Now here, there are some tall tales told in wrestling, but I truly believe this. I could believe he never missed that gum hit. I could believe that.
Yeah. I can definitely believe that. I can believe that on a lot of the takes, it only took one take. I can believe that. I can 100% believe that. The man was a freak athlete. The fact that we didn't have more championship titles on this man is a shame.
I think Kurt was more like the workhorse. So you put him on those mid-card titles.
I
Let
would
him
have loved to
like
see a
let
title on him, bro.
him steal the show.
Not only was he perfect, and that whole era of him shooting those vignettes was just spot on. Not only did I think that whole era of the vignettes and everything was just cool as can be, but you also take into account him as a commentator. Like, part of being cool is like being the funniest guy in the room. He was hilarious as a commentator. He would put people down. He'd just make them look stupid. I thought, dude, that was a great pick, Steve. Great pick.
We can't go a pod without the coolest person in the room. The Mr. Perfect walk to the ring, cool. He got in between the ropes, cool. He threw his tile, cool. He threw the gum out of his mouth, cool. Like, it's nothing that this man did. The Perfect Plex was literally like, as much as we talk about like overused moves, like, I didn't want anybody to have that move but him, because it's like nobody does it better than this guy.
Nobody has done it well since him. That's why nobody.
Right.
When somebody uses that move, everybody rolls their eyes. And he's been dead for 10 years. And he's been dead for 15 years, I think, or something like that. And still, everyone's like, yeah, dude, you can't do the fisherman suplex. That's just retired. You can't do that. Also, in the older brother doing moves, this is a podcast too, I think, or it should be a loose change. The older brother to younger brother move power rankings, I think the Perfect Plex is in the top 3.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I got Perfect Plex a lot as a kid. I'm just saying. I've taken that bump more than Tatanka.
That and hands down, that and a stunner. I've literally taken stunners from like every one of my cousins, just because they just wanted to stun me for whatever reason. Again, all of my cousins are like massive behemoths. Yes, I'm talking about you, TJ. Again, you don't understand why you haven't wrestled. Why we don't have more WWE titles around your waist right now. All right, Mikey.
I'm torn, but
that sounds painful.
It is. I'm all out of faith. I'm cold and I am shamed, lying naked on the floor. That's a Natalie Imbruglia reference for those of you at home who aren't cultured. Well, what is cool, guys? Cool is somebody who doesn't care. Cool is somebody who does what they want to do, and they are a trendsetter. You know who's cool, guys? My last pick, and I think this is the first draft I've ever won, because I'm gonna get this guy. Here's a guy who made pro wrestling cool again, and his name is CM Punk. CM Punk is freaking cool. In a time period where Super Cena was super over and super overexposed, this guy got Rolling Stone to do an interview. He was on Sports Illustrated. The first guy to get an interview from Sports Illustrated in like 20 years was CM Punk, Vulture. He was doing podcasts with everybody. He was on Jim Rome. He tried to start a feud with Chris Brown. It didn't work, but he went for it. He made pro wrestling relevant again in a time period where nobody cared about pro wrestling, but people cared about CM Punk. CM Punk is cool.
He is so big in wrestling, in WWE lore. He is so big there that this is the reason why Roman Reigns is holding his title for 600 plus days.
Yep, they are trying to erase him, Steve.
They're literally trying to erase this man from the history books, because before Roman, he was the longest reigning title holder
of the modern era.
Of the modern era, yes. Of the modern era. Which, again, if that doesn't tell you how big this man is to wrestling and how much he's like rubbed people the wrong way, at least from the corporate level.
But that's being cool. It's following your own rules.
Man.
It's
that's the pipe bomb, man.
And and the coolest part about it is he's kind of a huge dork if you really look at it. Like, and he's self-admitted, by the way. I'm not slandering the guy. He likes monster movies and music that's you can't even listen to. But the tattoos, and he's handsome. And I'm not saying that, sleeping with a lot of women is cool, but if you look at his black book in wrestling history, he's got like a top 3 black book. Um, and you want to talk about a guy like Jeff Hardy, and like Shawn Michaels, to a certain generation of sports entertainers / pro wrestlers. He is the Shawn Michaels of his generation.
Agreed.
These guys in AEW, they want to be CM Punk. He's a cult of personality, pun intended. Like Mussolini and Kennedy. Josh, really silent right now. Are you judging me, Josh?
One of the comments you made, I think, kind of hits it on the head. Like, in an era where there wasn't much coolness, he stood out. I agree. I love that pick, Steve, Mikey. I can't disagree with that at all. I was just letting you go because you were on a roll.
He's taking all your points, man.
I'm feeling myself today, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I don't think I've won any of these. I think I won today, and I think the people of the internet, of the interwebs, will agree with Mikey C that this is he's 1 for 1 on the official pods, because I don't think anybody could. I just look at these guys and Punk. And I got one more point about Punk too. He's a leading man in movies, even though those movies I haven't seen any of them. Has anybody seen anything he's done besides Heels, which is a great show?
I've seen one, and I cannot remember the name of it. It was a horror movie where he played a husband in a house.
Girl on the 3rd floor, I believe, or girl on the 4th floor, girl on the 8th floor, girl on the 3rd floor.
Girl in the attic, girl upstairs, whatever it is. Something about a girl. It was all like a ghost movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was kind of like one of those Netflix specials where it's kind of like, yeah, it was on Netflix, but you really should have probably chilled instead of Netflix. But
well,
I mean,
I always prefer to chill over the Netflix. I'm just saying.
I mean,
that movie's name is Girl on the 3rd Floor.
Hey, man,
and that's
again,
why
man,
he's
TJ,
the best in the business.
Exactly, yo, the best in the business, the fact checker. He always keeps us honest, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was you need to stay up for this one, but I mean, hey, it's an okay movie, I guess. Much rather see him wrestle.
He's great on Heels, though, which is getting a 2nd season, which I am. If you have not watched Heels, I will plug Heels. They do not give us any money, but Heels is great, and I think it's going to run for a while.
Make sure to plug that. TJ, you got to close us out, bro. Round 4, last pick.
Before I close this out, that title reign was 434 days by CM Punk.
434 days. You see how hard they had to work to get him to beat that?
All right. Now I'm ready to close this out. I've been thinking about this for a bit. I was so tempted, had to flip a coin, but I got to get a little out of pocket. And I'm going to say one of the coolest wrestlers out there was Mr. Johnny Drip Drip himself, John Morrison.
Johnny Drip Drip.
I don't think it's a bad pick. I wouldn't have drafted him. I would not have drafted him, TJ, but I don't think you're out of pocket. John Morrison is cool. He's 100% cool.
He was marketed as the cool guy.
Now, yeah. And one of the reasons I really think he comes to mind is the fact of the Johnny Drip Drip nickname came with him, The Miz, and Drew McIntyre just saving WrestleMania, buying time when it was a washout, when WrestleMania had its first crowd back in attendance. Guys, thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Johnny Drip Drip, bro. I'm a huge fan.
When I think of John Morrison, I think of you, Steve, because I know you're such a huge fan. Here's the thing. The guy's handsome. He does cool moves. He wears nice robes, the slow motion thing. The entire package of him is actually, hey, look how cool this guy is. Like, he literally is. That's his. What is the John Morrison character? This guy's freaking
He's
cool.
A star. He's a star, bro. He's a star. Treat him like he's a star. Roll his red carpet out and watch him actually be a technician in the ring, which, again, if anyone, again, for the casual fans out there that don't watch wrestling or don't watch as much wrestling, this guy's a work in the ring, yo. Like, underrated for how awesome this guy is in the ring. You guys seen him on any of his indie programs? Any of his indie runs?
I had the pleasure of seeing him a couple times on the indies. He's actually one of those guys that I feel like the TV, because it's like, here, you watch like a Marvel movie, right? And it's like, well, that doesn't happen in real life. Like, he's a real live Marvel movie. Like,
Yes.
I had to see him in person. Like, even the Starship Pain, which looks cool on TV, when you see it in person, he rotates so fast. Like, no human being should be able to do that move. It's incredible he's able to do it.
It's insane, man. Josh, any last minute thoughts?
Yeah, Josh, please.
No, I like the pick. I agree with Mikey. I don't know if he makes my draft, but I definitely think it's a cool pick. I think the stuff he did with Miz, although supposed to be hokey and dumb and they were heels, I thought was very cool. I think the original run he had with Miz, where they were doing the videos and making fun of people, I thought was very cool. I like
the dirt sheet.
Oh, yeah.
That, ladies and gentlemen, closes us out for our coolest wrestler draft. Let's go into a quick little honorable mention, because I know there's a ton on this honorable mention list. I'm gonna start out with the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Oh, I don't think AJ Styles is cool at all.
Oh, really?
Really? I'm being honest with you. Here, AJ Styles is phenomenal. AJ Styles is an outstanding wrestler. AJ Styles is AJ Styles maybe when AJ Styles was younger.
Let's go AJ Styles again. Let's go AJ Styles in the Bullet Club. Let's go AJ Styles. Let's go AJ Styles in the Bullet Club. Right. Let's go AJ Styles in TNA. Not the AJ Styles that we have today. Yes, not the AJ Styles that we have today. I'm just saying the wrestler as a whole, period, because the guy is just a cool wrestler, period. But his run in New Japan with the Bullet Club
was super cool.
Superb. Cool. You couldn't ask for another person to come in and pick up where Finn left off. I'm sorry, where the Prince left off.
I stand corrected.
Can I throw my honorable mention in there since you just kind of brought up the name?
Absolutely.
I know their character is to be kind of hokey, especially when they're heels, but you cannot tell me that the Young Bucks, especially 4 or 5 years ago when they were on that indie run, were not the coolest thing. As cool as the Bullet Club was, they stood out in the Bullet Club as being the coolest of all of them.
I agree. Totally agree.
I can't disagree with that. I think it's the fact that they're going out of their way to not be cool now, and they are still pretty freaking cool. The young Bucks are cool. Absolutely. The Young Bucks are rule breakers, man. They're I mean, here, I don't think they're as cool as my honorable mention, because his entire gimmick again was being cool. And I know Josh hates this guy. I think he does anyway.
Come on, dude, because
no. I'm saving him for you. No, guys, Edge is cool. Edge is super cool, dude.
Yes, Edge is super cool.
Edge is super cool. And Steve, you're welcome. But I wasn't picking him. No, Edge is cool, dude. Edge's entire heel run was because he was cool. What's my gimmick? I'm just cool and my girlfriend's hot and I'm just the coolest guy in the world. Even Edge in the stands, you think you know me, didn't say anything. He made wearing a puffy shirt look cool. Edge is cool.
TJ, your thoughts on Edge, bro? You think Edge is cool?
Absolutely. From the old vignettes when him coming out of the crowd, hanging out in the subway, to now with his current stint with Damian Priest, we'll see where that goes. Yeah, definitely.
Damian Priest, by the way, cool. Damian Priest is freaking cool.
Just by association?
No,
before that.
Anyway. Here, the nickname the Archer of Infamy is not cool, but he got it over because he's cool.
course.
Punishment Martinez is cool. One more guy again, Steve. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to give him to you. Finn Balor's cool. Prince
Absolutely.
Fergal, Devin's cool. Finn Balor is super freaking cool too. He should have been
100%.
drafted.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. You know me, I'm a huge Finn Balor fan. I think the guy's a amazing talent. We should be doing a whole lot more with him. I'm just happy that he's happy. If he's happy with where he's at right now, I'm happy with all the wrestlers. If they happy where they are in this grand scheme of wrestling, then hey, go for it. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. I would just like to see more title reigns out of that guy because I think he's definitely has more to give.
All right, Steve. Say it.
Come on, man. What's cooler than being cool?
Ice cold?
Absolutely, bro. And if this guy was the most ice cold dude you ever wanted to meet, because he was spit in the face of the people that didn't want to be cool. Carlito, bro. His whole stick was about being cool. He was cooler than everybody.
His original name, by the way, TJ, I'll save you 5 minutes. Was Carlito Caribbean Cool?
Yes, Carlito Caribbean Cool. You're correct.
Which is not a cool name. I'm just saying, but you're 100% right. But I'm gonna put Carlito over. I thought you were gonna say Triple H is cool.
Listen, man. Triple H is cool. Triple H is cool.
Triple H is cooler than Shawn Michaels. Triple H is cooler than Shawn Michaels is. He is. Triple H, like, is friends with Floyd Mayweather. Like, Triple H is cool. People love Triple H.
Again, people are going to be in the comment section after this pod. They're like, why didn't we have Triple H in this pod? Like, listen, Triple H is definitely cool. Definitely deserves.
I think there's going to be said a lot of the names like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's a ton of names. Eddie Guerrero. We never mentioned Eddie Guerrero one time. And this guy is the guy ever.
Eddie Guerrero was a guy. I feel like the Carmelo Anthony of this podcast. I hogged the ball a ton. But no, yeah, Guerrero's cool. But the point to Triple H though, I think it's interesting because what's the name of this podcast, Steve?
Casual Wrestling.
Casual wrestling fans really think that Triple H is cool.
Absolutely.
If you are if you are of a certain age, our age group, which is 33 to 42, Triple H is cool. Mm-hmm. DX was cool. Josh, who had to step away, he's got to deal with some family stuff. Obviously, he's dead and a ring general. But DX in that era was cool because Triple H is cool. He's cooler than Shawn Michaels. That's just the fact. I mean, Triple H is cool. He buried everybody under the sun, but I think Triple H is cool, man. And I don't think Shawn Michaels is as cool as Triple H.
So, okay. So let's go back. Let's go back and look at when Triple H and Shawn Michaels first really got together. Triple H was essentially Shawn Michaels' bag boy.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. But there was also a time where Prince sang backup for a while.
You're right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
And then guess what? He became Prince eventually.
He became Prince. You're right. You're 100% right. I can't take that away from you. And anybody that knows, you guys know, I'm a huge Triple H fan. TJ, I know you're a huge Triple H fan. There's a reason why I don't think we picked Triple H, because I don't think his persona was supposed to be set as cool. His persona was supposed to be set as like, I'm better than all of you. Like, I can beat all of you. Come hell or high water, I will beat all of you. I'm the king of kings. I'm the guy that's gonna get in your head and mess up everything for you. I'm gonna make sure that when we get in the ring together, you're gonna be so messed up mentally that you can't physically wrestle. That was just like his stick. I don't think it was about being cool, bro.
No, it certainly wasn't. But maybe Triple H isn't cool, but Paul Levesque is really cool. I think that's where we kind of got to wrap that bow on the Triple H.
True that.
I think and real quick, just a couple of names. Darby Allin's cool.
Oh yeah.
Um,
As
I
much as
don't know.
people want to give him a hard time, MJF is cool.
MJF is cool. The Miz might not be cool, but the Miz is kind of becoming cool.
We might end up turning around and saying like, this might be another pod, but I mean, is MJF becoming like, is Miz becoming MJF like?
No. We'll put a pin in that. And I think we need to do a most overrated wrestler pod. And I'm just gonna let that marinate. I'm gonna let that marinate. I'm gonna let that.
You're trying to start a whole fight. I can't wait till the ring general gets back.
I just, and again, we're desperately over time right now. If this was Monday Night Raw, we probably would owe USA like $10 billion.
You're 100% right.
But one more guy though, I have to poll you guys. Is Danhausen cool or am I nuts?
Come on, bro. Danhausen's cool, bro.
That's here. Danhausen's really freaking cool, dude.
Danhausen's cool, bro. You know who's cooler? I'm not gonna lie though. I love Danhausen, but you know who's cooler than Danhausen?
Who's that?
Orange Cassidy, bro.
I think we got to end on that, Steve. Orange Cassidy's entire thing is he's the. And again, guys, and casual fans, hop in our comment section and tell us who we missed, because we missed. I'll acknowledge you guys now. We missed probably 700 guys. Maybe pro wrestling is cool. Did you ever think of that?
That's a good comment, bro. That's a good comment. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to hear more from the Casual Wrestling Podcast team. TJ, you want to throw some of our handles out there, bro?
Yes. You can catch us on Instagram. That is _casual_wrestler. That is our IG page. We do have a Facebook profile page. That is the Casual Wrestler -TCW. And we are also on Twitter. Oh, don't forget to email us at thecasualwrestler@gmail.
Hit me on Twitter.
Mikey Suits.
Guys, I think this was my favorite pod we've ever done.
This has been an awesome one. For that being said, for us here at the Casual Wrestler Podcast, we'll see you in the next one.